the first session of today's training session, which has the topic the framework formula, mastering structure problem solving for businesses. At this time, is here with us Kak Nafira Putri Apriliani as Associate Consultant at Alta Consulting. She has a wealth of experience, namely co-founder of Strativate.id, Indonesian Youth Representative for APEC Voices of the Future at CEO Summit Thailand 2022, co-founder and director of consulting at 180DC Universitas Indonesia, winner, judge, and mentor for various business case competition. Wow, that's really cool. Let's get to know our first trainer, Kanafira. Halo Kanafira, good afternoon, Kak.
Hello, Nabila. Good afternoon. Anyway, Happy New Year to you all.
Yes, how are you doing, Kak?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well too. You must be very excited to give your knowledge and experience to all your friends here. Okay, without further ado, to Kanafira, your time and screen are welcome.
Okay, so hello. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that everyone have been well. And I really appreciate you for taking your time to join these mentoring sessions. And I also want to say thank you to the organizing committee for making this session happen. So, my name is Nafira. I'm an associate consultant at Alta Consulting, and I've been working there for almost 2 years. So, a little bit of myself, I graduated with summa cum laude at Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Indonesia, and I also studied abroad at Hanyang University, South Korea. And in both programs, I focused on international business management with the concentrations in finance. Outside of work, I've been a business competitions mentor and also a judge for around 4 years. And also during university, I won as a third winner of HSBC Business Case Competitions Indonesia in 2022, grand champion at the MBS Case Top Boss Taiwan, and I was also a top 10 finalist at the NTU Insurance Cast Competitions and many more. And today, please don't think these sessions as a formal lecture. This will be a fun mentoring session, so feel free to drop your questions in the chat box anytime, and I'll address them during the Q&A sessions, okay? Next. Okay, next. Okay, before we start, I want to ask you one honest questions. So in business case competitions, I want to know what is the hardest part of you? Maybe you can drop your opinions or maybe anything on the chat box and I'll read it. So I want to know about what's the hardest part for you in cast competitions. Maybe is it about understanding what the case is really asking, like finding the core problems, doing the analysis, turning analysis into clear solutions. Just shout out one word or one short phrase. What's the hardest part? Okay, Mutiara, how to okay, let me check the chat box. How to propose the implementations of strategic solutions. I don't know, it's my first time joining this. Oh, cool. That's a great start, actually. Choosing the most relevant framework because everything felt important. Yeah. Brainstorming the case and divided the responsibility with the team, of course. It's about teamwork. Structuring our ideas into connected solutions, struggling in finding the root cause, finding unique and effective solutions. Okay. Most of the participants answered about solutions, understanding yeah. Okay. Thank you to all of the participants. Those answers are very real. Like almost every team struggles with the same things, right? Can you go back to the previous slide, please? So yeah, that's exactly why these sessions exist. So everything you just mentioned before on the chat book is what we're going to break down today. These sessions is not about exploring complicated theory. It's about giving you a repeatable way of thinking, which way that you can also apply to almost any case of competitions. And here is how today is structured. So first, we will learn about the foundations, what business case competitions are, and the most common case types. Also, on the part B, we will learn about the most important part, which is how to actually solve the case, how to understand the prompt, identify the real problem, structure your analysis, and also build your solutions. Part C is about the presentations, how to make your presentations strong and also deliver strong analysis, something like that. And then for the last part, it's about like how strong teams work, how to structure your deck, and what judges really reward. So by the end of the sessions, I hope that every participants have a clear and also repeatable approach that you can use for almost any case competitions in the future. Okay, next. Next. Okay, now let's start with the basics. So a business case competition is basically like a simulations of a real world business problems where you act like consultants, like me, a consultant. So you will receive a company situations, a challenge, some data, and also exhibits, and then your job is to create recommendations like what the company should do, why, and how to execute it, like how you can try to make strategies, also like recommendations, and how you can convince your client that it's feasible. So why is it important? Because it trains the same muscles used in the real consulting, sorry, and strategy work like structured thinking, hypothesis based problem solving, and also persuasive communications. And the benefits are very practical for students. Like you can also sharpen your structured thinking. You can build your credibility for your CV and also interviews. You practice teamwork and also time management under pressures. You learn how to speak like consultant, clear, data driven, and also confidence. And of course, you also get networking opportunities with judges, mentors, professionals, and other like students across the world, especially this is like an international case competitions, right? So don't treat like case competitions like a class assignments. Treat them like a real client problems because that's exactly what judges want. Next. Okay, now we move to the types of business case competition. So now, what types of cases usually appear? There are several common categories. The first is marketing initiatives. So, the questions is usually like, how do we grow users, customers, brand awareness, and you will learn how to explore about a customer journey, value proposition, channels, and also messaging. The second is about the profitability problems. This is classic, but this is also like challenging at the same time. So like profit is declining and you have to find like why and how do we improve it. That usually like means breaking revenue and cost down, and then you have to find the root causes and also improving the margins at the same time. The third is about the market entry. So you have to find the answer of like, should the company enter a new market, like which segment that you have to target, what strategy that usually like involves, also about the market size, competitions, customer needs, and also go to market. And also there's also like specific categories like M&A or like digitalization strategy. For example, M&A it's more like a finance field, and digitalization strategy it's more like technology and also marketing strategy. The questions can be like about like can acquisitions or digital transformations increase the value of the company. And yeah, here judges will also care about yours, like synergize and also feasibility arrays, something like that. And there's also like organizational or like internal problems like turnover, culture, operational inefficiency. Also about CSR, sustainability strategy, something like that. But the key point is different case types require different tools, but the thinking process stays consistent. Okay. So maybe you can join a lot of competitions with different test types, but yeah, the thinking process will stay consistent. And from my experience, as mentor and also judge and also students at the time, uh, the three case types that the students see most often are like market entry, marketing initiative, and also profitability. So yeah, these are like student favorites because they are easier to structure, they work across any industry, and judges can quickly like see your logical thinking, something like that. And then next, okay, now We move into the how to see and solve the care. Great. Okay, next. Okay, this is where many teams either become very strong or like very confused. So we'll make it very simple and yeah, applicable, of course. First, here's a simple four-step that works for almost any case competitions. Step one, you have to comprehend the case. Of course, before you solve anything, you must understand the prompt, the context, and also like what success or like goals looks like. And also, step two, you have to identify the problem. So you have to know like what is the real issue. You can also make assumptions about that, not only the symptoms, but you have to know the underlying problems that you must solve. Step three, you have to do analysis. This can be quantitative, like numbers and data, and also like qualitative, or like you conduct interviews or like observations, customer insights. This is very important because you have to like convince your clients that your analysis is backed up with a strong argument or like data. And then the step four is build solutions and also implementations to make it, and also to like convince your client that your solutions are feasible. This is where many teams fail actually, because sometimes teams, they give like ideas, but they don't show like how to execute it. Judges want solutions plus a practical roadmap. Remember, judges want solutions plus a practical roadmap. If you remember one, like only one slide from section B, like uh, you just have to remember and take a note that you have to understand the case, and then you diagnose the case. You have to analyze and break, and you start to make like strategies and also recommendations, plus how you implement it or like the implementations. Next slide, please. Okay, this is how we comprehend the case. So now let's talk about step one, understanding the case. So a strong team needs to read a case in a focused way. Why? Because it's really important once you maybe try to assume or like analyze the wrong assumptions or the wrong conclusions, then you will fail in your like strategies or like your implementations, of course. So first you have to skim the case. So you have to do like quickly review for like the opening and also the closing sections. And then it will give you a big pictures like who companies, what the challenge is, and also what the final questions is. And second, you have to read truly. Now go line by line and look for the key facts like industry, competitors, current strategies, stakeholders, constraints, and what exactly the case asks you to deliver. And the third is about this, you have to study the exhibit, if any. This is very critical because exhibits also often contain the real story of the company, like financial trends or it's like customer segments, operational metrics, something like that. It's like many teams ignore exhibits and yeah, lose. Judges love teams who use exhibits correctly so they can tell a lot of things with the data. And finally, you have to sum up. So before you jump into frameworks, you have to summarize it in simple words like this is the company, for example, like this is Alta Consulting, and the like the conditions of Alta Consulting is are like blah 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 blah, and this is the key problems that we need to solve for like Alta Consulting, and this is what success looks like. And this is what Okay, sorry, I think I lost my connection. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, if your team cannot summarize the case into like three sentences, maybe you need more time to ready to solve the problems. Next. Okay, about tools overview. So once you understand the case, we can start using tools. So today we focus on the problem solving tools that help you to structure it a messy, bottom up, and top down thinking, and also like the issue tree to break down the root causes. So Missy will help you break like a messy problems into clean categories, and also bottom up and top down tools you can use to build your arguments. And then for the issue trees, that will help you to diagnose the root causes systematically. So the case maybe can be messy and you cannot comprehend or like understand the case, but the tools give you direction so you don't waste your time. Next. Okay, now first we go to MISI framework. So let's start with MISI. I wonder, like, anyone in here know what is MISI? Maybe you can also try to drop your comments here. What is MISI? So yeah, MISI is mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. So mutually exclusive means that your categories do not overlap and you don't double count it. So for the collectively exhaustive, it means that your categories like cover everything important and you don't miss like major areas. So here's a simple music process that you can see on the slide. So first, you have to identify the problem clearly, and second, you have to break the problems into like logical parts, and third, you can create messy categories. Fourth, you can analyze each category, and fifth, or the last, you have to filter your ideas and prioritize the best one. So messy is very powerful because it forces you to be clean and complete. So judges really loved it because it looks professional and logical. Next. Okay, so I would say that a weak team will just jump straight to random ideas like add promotions or sell premium products, but a strong teams will use like buckets. For example, uh, we have the example like product portfolio, like we have to describe like what products exist and can we add like premium, can we add bundles, and then another aspects that count that will help for this kind of like case about the retailer X wants to increase the average per case per customer in of their physical stores. So like we can just analyze about the store like attributes like the layout, the navigations, the cashier placement, employee knowledge, something like that. And also don't forget about the customer behavior. Customer is really important parts because what we have to know like what customer buys, what triggers them to like impulse buying from like our products and also willingness to bundle. Also, the important thing is about the price and discount. You have to learn how to find like pricing sensitivity and also discount effectiveness, where to rise or lower prices, something like that. So you have to know this. Next slide, please. Okay, now we move to the bottom up and top down thinking. So, bottom up starts from data and operational details. So you get our like evidence, find patterns, and then build conclusions. It is realistic and also evidence based, but it can be like slower. But for top down, it starts from the big pictures, visions, like objectives, key drivers. It gives like clear direction, speed. But if you don't validate it, it can ignore the reality. So bottom up and also top down can be used when you like maybe face like interviews and like a consulting a company, because maybe like some of the consulting firms they will ask you about market sizing and you can actually use bottom up and top down as strategies. You can go with bottom up or you can go with top down. It depends on you and like how you can explore and also give like a feasible and also a proven, not proven, but the interviewer just want to know that your assumptions is make sense, just like that, as simple as that. But in case competitions, the best teams combine both. Like they use step down to move and face and to move fast and also stay focused. And also they can also use like bottom up to prove the argument with data and also exhibit. So if you ask me like which one better, which one is better, miss or like anything, so my answer is both. So you can start with top down to frame and then follow that bottom up with evidence. Next, please. Okay, now we move to the issue tree. This is the important one. So you have to really take a look with this slide. So an issue tree is like a diagram that breaks one big problem into smaller problems and then into a deeper causes. So it's a root cause tool. So look at this example. For example, like cargo profits dropped from 25 million to 10 million. Why? At first, we can see the first level, the profit usually breaks into big areas like revenue decline or cost increase. Then revenue breaks into price decline and also sales declines. And for the cost breaks into like fixed cost, and then fixed cost increases and also variable cost increases. Then each branch has possible reasons like price wars, willingness to pay, and also market share loss, higher labor, something like that. So this is exactly how judges want you to think. It's about structured, exhaustive, and causal, not just random guesses or like assumptions. So you can really use this framework to frame your strategy or like your finding problem. So when you build an issue tree, you're basically saying like we will not miss like the real root cause. We count it. Next. Okay. Now the next question is: do you think business frameworks are essential in business competitions? I want to know your opinions. I want to know what do you have in mind regarding business frameworks. Okay, I want to know. Please drop your answer on chat box, guys. Okay. Enough. Very helpful. Yes, yeah, because it's prison structure. Okay, yes, very important. Okay, thank you guys for your answers. Some of you will say yes, maybe I don't know, but some of you maybe will say no because framework can feel framework sometimes can feel generic. Yeah, both answers are fair. Okay, but here's the idea: frameworks are not the goal. Okay, frameworks are not the goal. They are a tool. So frameworks help you to stay structured under like the pressures. Make sure that you also don't miss like key drivers, and also communicate your logic clearly to like judges or your clients. But this is important. Frameworks must be adapted. If you copy a textbook framework without connecting it to the case or like your strategy, judges will feel like, oh, it's just a textbook. It's maybe just a assumption or like fake. So use frameworks to think, not to decorate your deck. Next slide, please. Okay, so now after defining the problem, so yeah, many cases require internal and external analysis. That's where tools like this help you. So first, uh, we can try to use, for example, like internal scanning. So you can tell a story about your like not your company, but maybe your client's company or like uh the case company. For example, you have to know like what kind of industry of this company, and you can do like internal scanning. Like you have to find maybe internal problems if there are any, uh like on the case something like that. So you can do like internal scanning. So internal scanning for internal scannings, you can use like McKinsey 7S models or like free analysis to assess their capabilities. So you know like uh what strengths that company has and what it lacks, and also what resources are actually sustainable advantage, something like that. And then you can move to the external analysis. So you don't only think about your internal company, but you also have to think and also analyze the other aspects, for example, like external things. So for external analysis, you can use partial analysis, orders by forces, and also competitors analysis. This is important. You can use like competitor analysis. So you make like the judges or your client understand about the current market conditions, your competitors, the regulations, the trends, and the threats. So we can find like, okay, we find the opportunities, and then we will find the gaps from internal analysis and then for external analysis. And then we can consolidate it into SWOT or TOS analysis. So SWOT as a strength and weakness, it comes from the internal analysis. So for the opportunities and threat, it comes for the external analysis. So make sure you have already analyzed the internal analysis first, like internal scanning first. You did like internal scanning first, and then external scanning first, and then you can consolidate it into SWOT analysis because many participants like conduct like SWOT analysis first and then internal and external scanning. But yeah, uh, my tips are do not use every frameworks because they just do not reward like framework collecting. So judges will care about your insight. So choose tools that match with the problems and help you answer the case questions right and also faster and also better. Next slide, please. Okay, now let's talk about doing the analysis in a structured way. So I want to make it quick since we only have a short time. So this slide introduces how the PPT framework. So in order to like analyze a good case and also that leads to like good recommendations, you can think about three aspects. You can also count it to like three aspects. The first is about the people, process, and also technology. So when you propose a strategy, you must ask yourself, or you have to brainstorm about like, do we have the right people to execute it? Like the skills, capacity, capability of the company, and do we have the right process? Like, do the company has their SOPs, governance, and also clear workflows? And last, do we have like the right technology implementations like this system, maybe tools, data, IT infrastructure, something like that. Many many teams, many students propose a brilliant strategy, but they forget the implementation realities. So and the business case competitions, you have to show your understanding and also you have to show that you understand the execution. And then about the analysis method, you can do like qualitative analysis, and then quantitative analysis. So strong teams, you can use both. So numbers can tell you what is happening, and qualitative insight often explaining why it's happening. So you have to combine it. And next slide, please. Okay, now after analysis, we move into solutions and implementation. So judges are usually not only looking for only ideas, they're looking for prioritizations and also feasibility. So that's why we use tools like this. So first, we can maybe try to see about risk and mitigation strategies. So risk and mitigation strategy framework used to show you that you understand what can go wrong and how to manage it in the future. And then for the metrics impact and for effort, uh, it's how you prioritize the quick wins versus like major projects. So let's say that you have like three strategies or like three recommendations. So the metric impacts and effort makes the judges or like your client understand like what are like what is the first step, what should we prioritize this kind of like strategy, and what's next, something like that. Next is about the timeline or Gantt chart. It's to show the sequencing, like sequencing and ownership. And also for like the financial analysis, it's also very important. You may can learn about return on investment, but at least you have to also know how to like make budgeting, something like that. So the financial analysis is to show failure like the revenue impact, cost impact, ROI, payback period, budget needs, something like that. So when you present the implementations clearly, your recommendations becomes credible. Because without it, like even a smart or like even brilliant strategy feels like yeah, it's just a theory or like a textbook. Next, please. Okay, next, feasibility. This is very important about the feasibility study and weighted analysis and also roadmap. So this is the final step. So you have to choose the best options and also explain why. So the two tools that will help you is about the feasibility study and weighted analysis. Maybe later you can explore on the internet, but a feasibility study is like a common when like a company wants to launch something new and yeah, it's like a new business, new product line acquisitions. So before you launch it, you have to check the expected cost, the benefits, the risk, and also practicality. So you convince your clients or like uh your the judges that okay, my recommendations are feasible to do. And then the second is weighted analysis. So it will helps you to decide between multiple options objectively, like you define the criteria, assign weights based on importance, score each options, and calculate total scores. Then once you select the various options, you present the implementation's roadmap. So implementation roadmap is like a roadmap explain activities, deliverables, roles, timelines, and key milestones. This is where you work to feel like a real consultant in the consulting industry, because yeah, as a consultant I also do the same thing repeatedly. uh so you show it not just what to do, but you also show them like how to do it. Next slide, please. Oh, okay, we're almost there. Okay, now we move to the section C about how to present a case. So next, please. So this section, I can say that it's very important because in competitions, the best analysis doesn't always win. The best communication wins. So now we focus on how to create a strong deck, structure your story, and design your slides, and also hopefully you can pitch confidently. Okay, now we move to the ineffective case study deck. So to create an effective case study deck, you have to just remember two rules. First, structure. Your storyline must be clear. Or like this, what is structure? Now, later we will also cover about structure. And the second is visual consistency. So your slides must look professional and easy to follow. So if your logic is great, your deck is kind of messy. Sorry, judges will miss your message. But if your deck looks great, but your logical is weak, judges will see through it because you really feature it on your deck. So today, we will learn how to balance both strong structure and clean visuals. Next slide, please. Okay, now structure, it's horizontal and also vertical flow. Now we'll learn about horizontal flow first, right? For the horizontal flow, it means like you use like logic across the slide. So if I only read your slide headers from start to finish, I should understand your story without reading the details. For example, we have like storytelling in PowerPoint is addressed in two ways, namely horizontal flow and vertical flow. So the judges know, okay, from this slide, I know that the participant want to explore, also like explain about the two ways of storytelling. And how about the vertical flow? Vertical flow is more like logic within the slide. So your slide header is a claim, and everything in the slide body must prove that claim. Okay, so this is like a consultant mindset. Like every claim needs evidence. Okay, so if you want to claim anything, you need to support it with data. Okay, and every slide needs a purpose. So you have to make storyline. Next slide, please. Okay, first is horizontal flow. So horizontal flow is like a powerful way to build like a structured deck. So you can use like SCR or like situations, complications, and resolutions. So situations is how you describe a stable context or of like everyone's agrees on, and then the complications is about the change, the tensions, the problem that creates like urgency, and for resolutions you answer it, and you recommend strategies from that kind of complications or messy. So when the judges flip through your slides quickly, situations, complications, and also resolutions can help them to understand your argument. Next slide, please. Next, we have a vertical flow and pyramid principle. Maybe if you take a look on the slide, it's kind of complicated, but I try to explain it in a simpler way. So, the most common consulting structure is the pyramid principle. So, at the top level, you can see this is your key takeaway. So you have to answer your so what. And for the second level, you have the main supporting argument. As I said before, if you want to claim something or you want to show something, please support with data or insights. And for the third level is the data analysis and evidence to prove it. So a good slide header is not a topic. Like, okay, we can see in here, maybe it's about market analysis, but if you only like put market analysis, so what? So what with market analysis? So a good slide header message is like, okay, the market is attractive due to the higher growth and limited strong competitors. So you have to describe the market analysis itself because it's too broad for like judges to understand or to comprehend it. Next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, if your slide doesn't answer what, why, and how, judges will also confuse. But here is the design principle. So now let's talk about the design slides. Design is in a consulting. It's not about making it pretty. It's about making it clear. Okay, not making it pretty, but making it clear. So for substance principle, it's include like you have to put your key message and then you have to support it with your uh arguments with supporting arguments, and then you have to highlight the key points so like the judges a knows where to focus, and you have to end charts with logical conclusions with like the quirkiness, and then you can also add notes and also sources at the bottom. But maybe we can just move to the next slide so the participants will see how like the consultant make like that. Next slide please, sorry. Okay. Now this is an example of a consulting slide. So let's take a look at this example slide. So we have to notice the reader. So it is a message where it's not just a topic. It makes a claim about for example, it's about aviation's in industry, sorry, and freight forwarding. And then you can see after the key message, there is a supporting argument. So then below the readers, you can see like the headers. You can see like the supporting argument, which explain the situations and the reasons behind the conclusions. And then number three, you can see the key points are highlighted so the audience can scan quickly. And then you also can see number four, about the charts. So the charts are used to prove the claim, and there is a clear takeaway and also conclusions, not just the raw numbers. There are also notes and sources at at the bottom, which this is very matters because judges trust teams who cite the data from the credible sources. And also visually everything is aligned, consistent, and easy to follow. And this is what judges mean when they say consulting style. It's not fancy, but it's structured and clear. Maybe you can take screenshots from this slide. Okay, next. Okay, now how to pitch a deck. So now it's about presenting. So to pitch well, you need to learn about four habits that you have to also practice to master it, of course. First, you have to be prepared and focused. So before you present it, you have to know what you will say for each slide, not word for word memorizations, but clear flow. It's like a, let's say, a film, like uh the first slide about the company situations, it's more like a story like once upon a time in a company there are some problems that they are facing. The kind of problems is blah 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 blah. So it's more like storytelling, right? And then the second, you have to use gesture naturally. You don't just only phrase or rush. Speak like you were explaining to a real client. So, and the third is interact with the audience, like I just did before, like I like showed and also ask you some questions. You can make like a contact and also adjust your language to who is listening. And I'm like talking to university students, so this is how I talk. Of course, for the real clients, I'm not talking like this. And then of course, judges want to feel like you were confident and like a human, not robotic. Like it's very formal things. And then fourth, keep telling your story as I said before. So a deck is not a script. It's a visual support for your story, and you are still be the main communicator. So make it like you are a storyteller, something like that. Next slide, please. Okay, now pitching in a consulting. So in the real consulting world, like pitching is how firm wins the project is how we convince the clients, how we make them believe that our strategy is feasible and also applicable, doable, something like that. And the mindset is the same in competition. Pitching means presenting an idea, service, and also like a proposal to persuade your clients or like potential clients, the audience to take actions. So in consulting, the goal is to convince the client that you understand the problems and you have a credible approach to solve it. So what strategy matters? Because it shows that you understand the client's need. So your pitch feels like tailored, not only generic. You highlight the expertise, so show why your solution is credible, or like solution or like recommendations are credible. So and also like you have to over a compelling value proposition, make it clear what the client gains from your service, because uh consulting we over service is right. Use data and case study. Of course, you have to show evidence to build trust. You have to also focus on outcomes, like what will improve and how success will be measured, and be confident, because confidence signals belief and competence. Even as a student, if you pitch with this mindset, judges will treat you like a okay, they like a future consultant. Next. Okay, we almost there. Now the last is section D, about the tips for your case study. Next, please. So, best case study characteristics. So, a best study has three characteristics. So, Alta Consulting have compiled it into like three categories. The first is comprehensive. So, it covers all important aspects with evidence and structures, which is moving from general to specific. Second, you have to be reasonable. So, recommendations should be realistic, supported by solid data, and not like imaginations, fantasy assumptions with no backup data. Third, it's logically acceptable, so the conclusion follows from the analysis. So you have to consider multiple like options without bias, then justify your final choice clearly. And if you delivers these three uh tips and also three characteristic: comprehensive, reasonable, and logical, hopefully you are already ahead of many teams. Next slide, please. Okay, so now what structure should your final deck follow? So start with the company background. Give only what matters, like brief company context. Sorry. Okay. Okay, let's go back. So start with the company background. Give only what matters for you, like brief company contacts, what they do, like the visions, and also market opportunity, and then move to the problem identifications. You can define the problem clearly. Maybe you can use like issue three, or maybe issue SCR framework: situations, complications, and resolutions. So to like show the judges, you deliver like what it is, who it affects, and how it impacts to the businesses. And then the next is analysis. This is where you show your tools like internal, like finance, leadership, competitors, market forces, and I've already explained before about internal analysis and external analysis. Then we can consolidate it into SWOT analysis. So that's what it means with analysis. And then strategic recommendations, of course, after you know the gap and also the opportunities, now you have to fill the gaps, right? You have to propose the initiative that bridge the gap from the current situations to goals. And then you have to show the prioritizations and also assessment and roadmap. And finally, the last step is to summarize. So you have to restate why your findings matter, and restate the problem, restart your main recommendations, and close clearly. So this structure works because it matched with how judges think about the context, problems, proof, solutions, and closed. Next slide, please. This will be, I sorry, this will be the last slides. So this is tips to win a competition. So first you have to allocate your time wisely. You have to decide early like how much time you spend on understanding the cases and the analysis, slide building, and rehearsal, which you have to rehearsal to give the best, yeah, for the pitching sessions. Many teams like spend too long on analyzing and too little practicing like the delivery or like pitch sessions, right? And for the second, you allocate the members. I saw that like some of the comments on the chat box is still like, I have struggles. Like, how can I allocate my members? So you have to assign the roles clearly, like who leads the analysis. I was once an analyzer when I was like a student. So I took lead as an analyzer, and then my friends as a strategizers, and then like a leader, so on and so on. So you have to know like who builds the slides, who does research, who owns the storytelling, who leads the final pitch, something like that. And third, the effective preparation. So don't just build slides. So you have to rehearse your story, refine your key message, what kind of like message that you want to share or deliver to the clients or the judges. So you have to learn uh how to like anticipate judge questions also. And then you can do like maybe benchmark case methodologies like success story from like other competitors or like other countries. You can use like past cases and also learn about different approach. So you don't copy for benchmarking. You don't just copy like the strategy, but you have to adapt about it. Adapt it. And then my last message for you is like winning is rarely about one genius idea. Winning is about uh being structured, aligned with your team, and you presenting a credible recommendations, of course, visible one. And I always believe you not win some, you lose some, but in case competition, you win some, you learn some. So thank you for today. Maybe my last words like in case competitions, judges will reward teams who are structured in thinking and so clear in communication. So I think that's all for me. Hopefully it will be useful for all of us. And then maybe I hope you will apply these tools and do well in your upcoming case competitions. Now I would love to hear from you. So let's move into the quick discussions and also like Q&A sessions. So with that, I will hand it back to the MC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kanavira, for presenting such insightful material. From the session, we learned how to approach business case competition in a structured way, from understanding the case and identifying the core problem to build a solution. This session also emphasized the importance of clear frameworks and storytelling in delivering a strong case presentation. Okay, and it seems that the training session participants here have a lot of questions that they want to ask Anafira. We will enter a Q&A session. For participants who want to ask, I want to remind you again, please keep your question relevant to the content provided. If you have any questions that are related to the technicalities of the competition, our committee will be happy to assist you outside of the training session. Okay, now, if you would like to ask a question to the speaker, please raise your hand. All right, we will take the first question from M. Rehat Pratama. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I have a question regarding to a business framework. There are so many tools that we have to use to analyze the situation, and my question is how to know the exact specific tools that we have to use in specific situation. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. We will now invite Kanafira to respond it directly.
Okay, actually that's a great questions because like some of the participants just like put all the frameworks, and I don't think it's necessary to like put all the frameworks. So first you have to understand about the business questions itself, like what kind of objectives and also what kind of problems that the company actually face. So you have to know like what the decision, what like the decisions does like the client needs to implement. So I learned from like a common business case questions like why like the is the profit declining and how to like increase the revenue, how to improve like the efficiency, something like that. And then secondly, you have to so structure the problems itself. So you have to map like the questions of like the type of problems using like issue tree first, and then you can try to like make assumptions. For example, okay, this is about market entry. Market entry, it's about external analysis. It's about competitors. So when you want to enter or like expand your like product to a new country or like new city, so you have to know the competitors, right? So first, you have to know, is this internal or external type of cases? For example, like uh market entry, profitability, or maybe uh market entry, marketing strategy, something like that. If it's internal, you have to make like a value change and also like try to analyze the cost, operations, something like that. But if it's regarding like marketing strategy or like uh market entry, so maybe you can use like five quarters versus parcel analysis, market analysis, and then uh you have to try to diagnose and also like decide what kind of things that you want to like show to the judges, right? So it can be you can diagnose like the profit tree and also like operation, something like that, and you have to decide whether they want to like tap into a new market or they just want to like evaluate their financials, something like that. Uh so the if I can conclude like what I have just said today, so first you have to clarify the objective of the case and you have to identify the problems. Uh, you have to decide and also conclude whether this is the type of like profitability or like marketing strategy or like a market entry, and then you have to choose like two or three primary frameworks that you want to use, and then you have to support it with the data, of course, from the credible sources, yeah. And then you have to quantify and also like convince or like just put your arguments onto your proposals, like why this is possible, and you have to synthesize it. So yeah, I hope that it will also answer your questions, yeah, regarding how to choose the framework.
Okay, thank you, Kak Nafira. We hope that answer your question clearly. All right, we will take the second question from Adi. Please go ahead.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the time. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the insight, Kanapira. My first question was also the same as previous one, so it's already been answered. My second question is regarding the pitching. Sometimes when we, like doing the finals and like the pitching and stuff, the judges oftenly ask us questions, some things that's probably bizarre or even like out of the box that we didn't plan the questions. So in your perspective, since you have like this many judging experience and competitions, I would like to ask you, judges' perspective, if the team are doing the discussion before answering the question, does that degrading the team's valuation in the judge's point of view, or is it completely normal to do that? Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Yeah, it's actually a great question. So, yeah, talking about discussing, actually, because I'm a consultant, so sometimes when a consultant like try to interview a new candidate, they also give times for like their candidate to have more time to like maybe comprehend the case and also like structure data. So uh I think it's fine, but the judges POV is only like uh focus, not only focus, but they tend to like focus on how you think under the pressure. We just want to like see you how you think under the pressure, like how you manage it. So if you ask like 1 minute to discuss, I think that's okay. But I think it will be good if you have already like discussed before the pitching sessions, or you have already like divided the task. For example, oh, I will answer the questions regarding the financials. Adi will answer the questions regarding the marketing strategy, something like that. But we just want to see like, uh, can you structure your ideas on the spot, something like that, and we just want to see like whether you and your team like truly understand about your solutions, because like sometimes as a judge I saw like some teams only have like one representative persons that explain like all the things, so they depend on like one person. So I recommend you guys to learn like how to master and also divide your teams based on your like the team's task like based on your like strength and weakness, something like that. So the judges just want to see like, are you just like memorizing the slide, or uh do you actually understand it and also use your logical thinking rightly, something like that. And the judges also want to see like, uh can you also like adapt with the uncertainty, because sometimes yeah, judges ask you like something started out of the box, but it's still aligned with like your recommendations. But yeah, you have to be just calm, and then if you need time to discuss, that's okay, but not long. Yeah, make sure that it's not just like 5 minutes. Just make it like, okay, give me seconds, or like give us like 1 minute to discuss, something like that. But yeah, that's what's the judge's POV from my opinion, actually.
Okay, thank you so much, Kanapira.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
we hope that answer your question clearly. Thank you for all of your question, but since we have limited time for Q&A session, I'd like to apologize to any participants who haven't received answer from the speakers. We appreciate your question and regret that time constraint may not allow us to address all of them. We will move directly to the next agenda. Thank you to Kanafira for the answer. I hope it can add more understanding to the participants.
Guys, I
Next,
think, sorry,
yeah.
sorry. Oh yeah. Maybe I just have a closing statement, since I see like your enthusiasm in this like mentoring sessions, and if you have any questions, you can ask me through my LinkedIn. I will drop my LinkedIn name here, and you can also ask me anything about business case competitions or like Alta Consulting. It's free, and then do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Karavira. That's the first session of the training session which we have attended together. To end session 1 today, we request Kanavira willingness as trainer on today to receive the e-certificate, which will be continued with a photo documentation. Please Kavalen as the project officer of Dual Duet Conference 2026 to present the certificate symbolically and a photo documentation with Kanavira that will be led by our documentation team. Okay, to Kanavira and Kavalen, give your best expression, and to the committee may be ready for the documentation. I will count 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Once again, thank you to Kanavira who takes the time to provide knowledge to all of us attending this event. Hopefully, the knowledge provided can be useful for the training session participants, especially in working on the business case. Without impairing your respect, Kanavira is welcome to leave Zoom. Thank you, Kanavira. Okay, guys, for your information, the Share UI International Business Case Competition is a business competition that is highly anticipated by university students. And today, I'm so excited to share some great news about the Share UI International Business Case Competition. That the registration is still open until January 11, 2026, and the registration fee is only 250,000 rupiah and $12 for international participants. This is your last chance to join and showcase your business skill. Don't miss this golden opportunity to be part of an incredible experience and a chance to win up to 30 million rupiah or around 1,900 US dollar. So, if you haven't registered yet or if you are eager to give your best in this competition, now is the time. Also, don't forget to invite your friends to participate too.